keeps us solvent. Also, the biggest thing I always push to is make sure you're moving around. Get on a treadmill, take a walk. Get yourself stretched out a little bit. Last year I fell to injury because I wasn't really ready either. And this year I'm being a little bit more cautious, but I am out there doing some stuff. So make sure you're ready. Get yourself limber. I'm trying my best to do the same. So, but yeah, we're gonna have a good season, and I know Andre. Not to reiterate it again, make sure that you check your schedule. Make sure you get that done for Andre, because if he doesn't know when you're available, he can't schedule a show. Just heed the warnings that were given out before. Make sure you look at the horizon, and make sure make sure that the Andre knows that when you're available. So I'll pass this on.
Jimmy, is there anything you wanted to say from the league or needed to talk about? If you are talking, you do need to unmute your microphone, Jim.
Yeah, I'm muted. No, I don't. At this time, I don't have anything to pass along. So it's all you.
We'll get started here. And Jeff, we're going to start with the rules changes, 2024 NFHS boys lacrosse rules changes. All right.
Yeah, we'll just go through this PowerPoint. Everybody can hear me fine, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. We're just going to go through the PowerPoint. Believe it or not, they're still talking about different things and still haven't. As a matter of fact, there's another webinar tomorrow, but I can go over for us what to expect for the upcoming year thus far and any changes that are there. Please feel free to ask as we go along. This year, we'll start out with just the field, 1-2-7, 1-2-8. And basically what they've done, they shortened the box back up. So the substitution box is going to be 10 yards now, like it used to be. But they didn't take away the other 5 yards. Those other 5 yards are for coaches. And it actually makes it a whole lot better for the table, because the table is able to see those players has to be back in their area. The coaches area is still like it was, but you're going to have that extra 5 yards. And coaches, please tell your players, that is not a place for them to pull and wait to come in and sub. Anybody that's a player that's in that 5 yard coaches player area on each side needs to be moving through to get to the box for an imminent substitution. So what I like to do or tell the officials, hey, if the teams have enough people that they actually have a substitution coach, talk to him, tell him what you're trying to get. I mean, we're going to tell the head coach as well, but talk to him and let him know what you're trying to do, and he'll be able to help. And I'm pretty sure this year it really worked well for the college. College done this 3 years ago, went to that, and they have more room. And on some of the fields where we have tight areas, it's really better because that extra 5 yards, the coaches can actually get in that extra 5 yards, put their water bottle in that extra 5 yards, and won't be pushed out on the field because the team is creeping up on you because it's such tight quarters. So officials, when you get there, if a lot of these are turf fields, they have permanent markings on them. Just make sure that those cones are moved to the 5 yard mark. Coaches and officials, if you're going to have the second cone, put the second cone at the back of the line, so that because one of the things that we discovered is that if you put 2 cones at the field inadvertently, I guarantee you that there's going to be a kid that runs off in the wrong place, and we don't want to ring them up just for running off in the wrong place. So if you're going to put that second cone, move over just with hair. No, I was going to say go over. but right there is where you need to put the second cone. If you want to mark that 5-yard thing off. That way, players coming off the field understand that the substitution area where it is, and they're not going off of the other. Any questions at all about that?
Next slide.
Okay.
You have a question?
Jeff,
Yeah.
yeah, quick question, Jeff. On that, as far as like say prime example, a lot of my face-off guys would normally we're swapping sticks, and I have to go into the substitution box to swap sticks. Have they had any issues with that, or
No. And let me tell you that a lot of coaches are unaware, and a lot of officials are unaware. You do not have to do the stick exchange in the substitution area. You can do it in the coach's area. As long as he stays on the field, you stay off the field, and it's right in front of his own team box.
okay? Because that's been that I've had that called 2 different ways.
Right. And
That's the reason why I'm asking, because I went one area and they said that we couldn't do it. That he had to come full off the field, and then I went with y'all, and it's been substitution box one person. So I was just getting clarification on it. So we don't actually have to be in the substitution box. We have to be at least in the coach's area, and the player has to stay on the field.
players stay on the field, you stay off the field. I mean, let me back up. Let me say this straight, because a lot of people get confused.
Mm-hmm.
And they're worried about having to ring a coach up. There's only 2 reasons why a coach should be in a substitution box.
No chickens.
The first reason is that he is actually switching a stick with a player. Second reason is that he's talking to a timer or a scorer for clarification. He cannot coach from there. He cannot yell from there or anything like that. And a lot of us have confused that anytime you get in there, you ring it up. Secondly, on a stick exchange, players can make stick exchanges on the field or off, have to be hand to hand, but it is from a coach to a player. The coach needs to be off the field, substitution box or coach's area. The player can be on or off the field, still has to be hand to hand.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you for the clarification on that.
Not a problem.
Any other questions? You're on the next slide.
Okay. This year, when we do get a film out, they're going to show on there that there's a lot of players that have it up at their chin, or they have it clear back to their Adam's apple. Either ones of those are wrong. And the rule now is in there to tell them how to wear it, why it should be worn that way, and that the officials should do something about it. My suggestion is that we're going to tell the player he doesn't make a change. We're going to send him off to tell you why he's coming off when you haven't called for him, and he's going to do it. If he does it the 3rd time, that is a 1-minute non-releasable penalty. So they need to have the chin strap on the chin. And they need to be aware of that. So they can't have it over their mouth, covering their mouthpiece. They can't have it down to their Adam's apple. It is to be worn on the chin as it needs to be. We can talk about the numbers later because that's 2027. Okay. Here's the things on the face-off. And what they're talking about there is that they've pretty much gone back to when we're have exceptions as to the face-off. We can go to the book and I can read them out to you, or I could just tell them to you. Which one would you guys prefer? Which one would be easier?
Just read them, right? Or tell them. Just tell us.
And since his hands You guys know how to put your hands up?
Just tell us.
Okay. All right. The times that you will not have a face-off. One of them, of course, is that you have a dead ball foul. Prior to that face-off, we're going to start without a face-off, and they're going to just going to award the ball, time serving or not, and we'll start on that team's offensive side so that when we start the whistle, it will also start to count. Second, if you're at the end of a quarter and it's going to be uneven to start the next quarter, the team, doesn't matter which team, that is in possession, and I emphasize in possession. If I am passing the ball to Andre and it's in the air, that's not possession. If it's loose, again, that's not possession. And I should say awarded possession. You can have it loose, have a play on going on, and end up it would be their ball because that's awarded possession. But remember, the important thing is that they will be uneven. I actually had to send to a coach last year one of the forgive me for saying ARs, that's what they are in college, approved rulings, where he was a man up, and he was trying to run the timeout, and his player got slashed, and he never took a shot because he thought he was getting the ball the next quarter. He wasn't, because now we're 9-on-9. So it was a face-off, and he was rather upset. And I sent it to him, not being smart or anything. I just said, next time you're in a situation, understand that this is how it works. So that's another one where you're not going to start off with the face-off. So delay a game, of course, that's automatic. And then did I say 4 of them? I think I did, did I?
You said 3.
Forgive me being careful because some things are different in college. Okay. When a player, and it's kind of the same way, you're in set and the player loses a piece of equipment while we're in set or moves during the set, we're not having a face-off. So those are the 4 examples where we're not going to have a face-off.
Any questions?
I have one.
Sure.
Well, kind of. So like when you're saying after set, any loss of equipment by the face-off guys or any movement from the face-off guys, and or if the wings encroach, that's just wipe the face-off, right? So just a face-off violation, basically.
Basically, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Anything else?
They just wanted to make that one clear this year. Yeah.
Mhm.
And there they are. But we just went over any of those stuff. Okay, check in with the cross. This year, they redid it to just make it simple and make sure that people understand. A player may be checked opponent's cross with their own cross. If he has possession within 5 yards of a loose ball or within 5 yards of a ball in flight. And the reasons why they wanted to make C real important, I think everybody understands. The first 2 is that if you have I'll do it this way. If you have a goalie that Gilman's the ball and it's going over the midline and there's 2 players there, when that ball is going over their head or beside them, one can check the other one's stick once that ball is in that 5-yard bubble. Any questions on that at all? Okay. This one is actually something that we should have always been doing. They just wanted to make it clear. And let's go to the next slide that shows that area right there. That is the wing area. Anytime a ball goes out of bounds there, and coaches, please teach this and please be patient. When that ball is in that area, we have to move 5 yards away from it. And often, I know we have a shot that careens that far, or a goalie overthrows somebody that's on a clear. It goes into substitution. The kid steps out. He's holding up the stick ready to go. And the lead had already taken off because it was a fast break scenario. So now he's working his way back to it, and he's trying to shout at the kid to get 5 yards out. And the kid's not understanding, and it's a slow restart. And they're screaming that we're not restarting fast enough. Make your players understand that anytime it goes out in that 20-yard area, the new coach's box across the substitution box, they have to go out 5 yards. That's so that somebody can't come out of substitution box behind them and do whatever. But that is a point of emphasis this year. It's actually in the book now that the restarts must be 5 yards from the sideline when it's in that wing area. And just teach your players that, hey, you get the ball, go out the 5 yards.
Yeah, everywhere else on the field, it's 1 yard. Once you get in bounds 1 yard, we're going. And as long as the other players are far enough away. But in that wing area, it's got to be 5. So if you're yelling to us, hey, blow the whistle. We want to get the game moving as quick as possible, but they have to be in the right spot. We can't restart the play if the attacking player is inside the attack area. We have to pull them out. If they're not in the right spot after a ball goes out of bounds, we have to move them to the right spot. So we want to start play as soon as possible. We got to make sure they're in the right spot to do it. Just an FYI.
Any questions at all on that? Okay, this year, they went a lot of different ways about this. So they decided to actually put it in there and word it as it is. A whistle shall be blown immediately if a player uses any mandatory equipment in a scrimmage area, regardless of how his equipment is lost. Second, if the player's team is possession entitled, that team will be awarded the possession on the restart. If the player outside of the scrimmage area and not in possession of the ball loses the mandatory equipment, exception is the helmet. If we're in the offensive half and a defensive player loses his helmet in the other side of the field, we are going to stop it. Getting back to that, if he's outside, we're going to let the play go. And again, the play is stopped, regardless of how the equipment is lost. And they wanted to align it with the new helmet rule that, hey, you lose the helmet, because some people were saying, hey, if they lost the helmet and they're getting ready to shoot and he's not in the scrimmage area, do we stop it? Yes, we do. It's the same as goalie equipment break. We stop it. What I wanted to say, though, is I don't want to do it. Officials, we need to be quick on this. The reason being, if a defensive player goes to check an offensive player that is in possession of the ball, he checks him, he loses his glove, we need to be on the whistle right away, because if we're not on the whistle right away and we let some play go, we are forced by rule to put him in the box for 30 seconds for playing without that equipment. So let us understand that if somebody's in the scrimmage area, loses the equipment, we need to stop the play right now. The other bad part about it is that this has always been an error, but people don't understand. That same check by the defensive player, the offensive player loses his glove or goes to fake somebody out, loses his shoe. It's an immediate whistle. He gets to put the equipment back on. We start him outside the box, and he keeps to get the ball. He gets to keep the ball. So seems kind of unfair that you're going to penalize the defense caught without playing it, and the offense gets to stop and keep the ball. But I don't write these. So I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware of what's going on and how we need to do this. Again, the helmet, goalie equipment, we are stopping. Any questions by officials or coaches?
I have another one.
Mm-hmm.
So the way that I'm reading this is, regardless of the manner in which the equipment is lost, if it's within 5 yards of the ball, it's a whistle. If the ball's already in flight, is it still a whistle? Or does the ball have to come to rest?
If it's in flight on a shot,
In a flight on a shot, yeah.
if it's in flight on a shot, we'll let the shot go.
Okay. Because the cynical view I have is like playing defense, defensive player running at offensive player, throws his glove off within 5 yards. Like that to me seems, because it's regardless of how the equipment is lost.
No, in a legal way is the answer.
That's an
It's
illegal.
a illegal way.
Yeah, it's the same thing as the goalie, if you all remember.
Okay, down here. Yeah, yeah.
That if he does it to stop the play, now we've gone into unsportsmanlike.
Okay, fair. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions?
This is going to be aligning with college. We've done this a few years ago with college. We've now have changed to having a 1 minute locked in penalty for shots to the head. And it's called indirect. So I know that a lot of officials may have a trouble with this. So this is the way I'm going to explain it. And please stop me and we'll go over it again with it. I'm going to do the wet surface first. Wet surface, I'm checking Andre. I'm definitely in his chest. His feet gives out. I go across his face mask. He hits the ground. That is unintentional. That is 1 minute. That is locked in. Now, the confusion part is that we're off the wet surface. We're back onto a dry surface. It's a legal check into the chest that finishes to the head. Is it 1 minute? Is it 2 minutes? One, I want officials to collaborate on it. Number two, for coaches, this is what I'm going to say. If he finished at the head, it's going to be 2 or 3. If he contacted the head, he lets up because he realized he's in a bad position, but he did contact the head. In other words, you finished at the head, but you did not finish. It's not bad play. That'll give him a minute, and he'll be able to come back on the field. But you can start at the chest or the shoulder, end up at the head, still get 2 minutes or 3 minutes. So what I'm trying to say, in like football, guys say, hey, he turned his back, so you can't call that because he gave up. Yes, I can if you finish him. That's not a free shot. So if you realize you're in a bad position, lacrosse is a game that we get into a lot of bad positions. You let go of the stick. You pull the stick back. It could be a 1 minute or nothing, depending on the team's playing. But if you finish, hey, he ducked, I got into his helmet, and I went on and finished it, it's still 2 to 3 minutes. Was that clear as mud?
When you say finished, you mean like completed the check, like pushed his arms out, like tried to actually hit versus he slid up and just went across the face mask or whatever.
That is better said than I said it. That is correct.
So we're not talking about incidental brushes here then.
No, we can have situations, I'll say, where an attackman is going around the crease and he's trying to redirect him, and and he goes and, you have that, you're pushing him to try to turn him, and it slips up, touches the ear, and he pulls it back down to the arm real quick. That's still nothing.
Great. Thank you.
Any other questions on this, guys?
Okay. This they wanted to be clear because actually in both the college rule book and the high school rule book, I didn't know if you all actually know, because we as officials, good, bad, or indifferent, said that, hey, players want to play, coaches want to keep play going. So if we have that loose ball, we're going to let them pick it up and we're going to let it keep going. In reality, if a foul causes a loose ball, or they do the foul, a personal foul, and the ball's in the air, we were supposed to stop it. So they reworded it to say that if we have that situation that they're taking a shot and he gets pounded, or he's passing to a teammate and the guy gets pounded, that is a flag down, which you guys have been used to seeing it.
Any questions?
The only difference I'll say with that, and I'm throwing myself under the bus, in college, you have a situation like that, and it's a technical foul. It's just a play on. In high school, those situations can still be a flag down, even though the ball was in the air at the time happened. You may have to get on me or my brother sometime and say, hey, that really needs to be a flag down situation.
You and who? Oh, brethren.
Yeah.
I'm like,
So
you and brother.
I'll apologize for that. Okay, when an inadvertent whistle occurs prior to the ending of a face-off, a re-face-off will occur. So basically, it's saying that that's another reason why we had tried to get out of refacing. But if we have an inadvertent whistle during that face-off, we're going to do it again. And when it says before a face-off is ended, if the ball makes it past the offensive, defensive clearing line, whichever one that you're saying, or it's made it out of bounds, the face-off is ended. So we will award in that situation. But if it happens inside the wing areas and stuff like that, we're going to reface the ball. Situations. Yeah, that's okay. Before the game begins, the official noticed several players on Team A wearing their helmet chin straps loosely under the chin or above the chin on the mouth area. The official reminds Team A captain and head coach to inform their teammates and players to properly tighten their chin straps and wear them on their chin. As I said earlier, we're going to tell you first, and we need to see a change. We need to see an effort to get that changed. All players begin the game legally equipped. During play, official notices A1's helmet chin strap being worn above the chin on the mouth area. The official instructs A1 to leave the field and fix the chin strap so it can be secured on the chin. A1 leaves the field, corrects the equipment, and returns to play. Later in the game, the official notices that it's covering his mouth again. As I said, that's going to be a 1-minute penalty. We've told you, now we've sent you off the field. You're still not doing it. It's going to be in a 1-minute non-releasable penalty. Within the scrimmage area, A1's glove becomes dislodged and falls off the player's hand, or B, helmet come off the player's head. In A, play shall be suspended immediately by an official's timeout. The player shall fix the equipment. In B, player shall be suspended immediately by an official's timeout. The player shall leave the field until the next ball following the resumption of play. So both of those, you're going to stop it. A helmet, best way for me to explain it. Understand when a helmet comes off, it is this. We're treating it the same as an injured player. That player has to leave. He cannot come back to the next dead ball situation. Ball goes out of bounds. We have a penalty, spin and play. We have a timeout. That's when he can come back. He can't come back until that next dead ball play. Once the official is satisfied with the positioning players crosses, the official shall instruct the players to remain motionless by saying set while the official is still near the players. For hearing impaired, a reasonable accommodation for set command and whistle shall be provided. After the set command, the official shall block out and blow the whistle when clear of the scrimmage area. The officials does not have to be stationary and may be moving backwards. When the official blows the whistle to start play, the whistle cadence will vary with every face-off. That's a whole lot of stuff. And let me say this for our fellow officials, and it's for the coaches, but I want to get this to the fellow officials. I don't know if you've ever done one with a hearing impaired player. I've done a couple of games, both college and high school that way. Actually, it goes okay. But if you're going to move out of the face-off, do not move until after you have said set. Tell the players during the pregame or tell the coaches that, hey, I move out of the area. Please tell your players do not move because I'm moving. But I ask that you move after you have said set. Reason being, that tells your partner who couldn't hear you because it was a windy field. It tells the guy who is off ball in the bench area that you've already said set. And it tells the crowd that you have said set. So if you are an official who needs to move, prefers to move, please say set prior to you moving out of there. Any questions? Okay. 542 has been rewritten for clarity and understanding. Basically, they shortened it a whole lot. And for those of us that feel the need to get a goalie stick to check it, make sure you understand what the goalie stick requirements are, their length, their width, and all those things. And a goalie stick can have a shooting string in it, and there is no restriction on a goalie shooting string. He can have it as close to the throat as he wants or as high up as he wants. It is not an issue. When a player commits a foul before any face-off, the ball will be awarded to the offended team and its offensive side of the field at the center. Players remain confined behind the defensive area lines until the restart, resuming play. Basically, what it's saying is we have a loose ball technical for everybody on the call. We have a loose ball technical during the face-off. We're going to award the ball and restart. Do not try to sub. Do not try to get up in the field of play. The players need to stay behind the defensive clearing lines, offensive clearing lines until we restart. That is on a loose ball technical foul.
Because many times there'll be a face-off violation, and you see everybody just start running off the field to do the subs. You cannot sub. And the officials, you've got to stop them. You know, it's sometimes it seems crazy, but bring them all back. Make sure the right people are on the field.
Before he goes that far, for the officials on the call, that is the reason why we have the single side restart play. He can watch the players to restart. You already have the bench side official near his line. That allows the helping official, the official running left, to move back to his defensive line and to keep the players there by the single side restart. So when we have that type of situation, I know a lot of times we have the trail start and the single side tries to move down, but the single side should restart in that situation so that the two bench side officials can keep the people locked in and make sure that we don't have any illegal substitutions or anybody out of the box that don't need to be outside of the box.
Any questions?
On normal play, A1 makes a pass to A2. While the ball is in flight, B1 commits technical foul, or B, a personal foul. Ruling. And A, the official calls out play on, and the play on is over if the pass is completed. If the pass is not completed, award the ball to team A. And B, flag down, slow whistle. And that's the change. Before it would have been an immediate whistle. And we're going to let the play continue. Goalkeeper B1 makes a save. When outside the crease, A1 legally checks B1 back into the crease. Wow. They had it wrong in the book. B1 is still in possession of the ball. And basically, it's ball awarded to team A. That's simple. Nobody can possess the ball and run into the crease. The goalie or anybody else cannot possess the ball and run into the crease. And, I'll show you again. I really hate that, but they're still on that. They have seen noticeable improvement. Remember that it's just one stroke. No symbols, no words, no numbers, no logos or other symbols. It cannot be one. It has to be under each eye. And again, it's going to be a 1 minute non-releasable. Officials, please look around, and if you see it, try to get it changed before the game start. The bad part about it is some of this stuff is really hard to wipe off. Basically, we have a literally shaded player because he tried to wipe it off and basically just speared the mascara. I know it seems very trivial. Here's the problem. Everybody knows the day and age that we're in. Now, if we get there and there's something on there, F you, I hate trans, anything like that, this goes a lot further than just him having that on there. One, he's ejected out of the game. Two, I guarantee that somebody is videotaping that. And three, now the coach and or AD of that school may be losing their job. So let's all try to be cognizant of it, make sure that there's nothing in there. The bad part about it is that we had a situation, and I'll bring it up. It wasn't my game. It was a D1 playoff game, and the player put his mom's birth date in there because she had died that week, and they still made him take it off. They're pretty strict.
Any questions on that?
I have one really quick. Just like I've had some of the kids that buy what I want to call is the more of the bargain brands of this. And they'll put it on properly, and then through the course of the game with like sweat and heat and humidity, it will drip down like you're saying. That's not been a problem, but it did happen one time when we were scrimmaging elsewhere, like outside of the state. I'm assuming that that's like well taken care of and clarified, right?
No, I understand what you're saying, and it's kind of like the dress code. And I said, hey, we're playing now, and have running mascara and stuff like that. But no, there are some areas that are really restrictive about that, and
Yeah.
it is a problem. And I'll go this way: it isn't because the officials in that area are different, or what has happened is, like I said, one player went out there and really crossed the line, and so they have shut down the show.
Yeah. There's only one other instance, like from playing myself. I know that if you move around a lot, or if you unfortunately get hit in the head and your helmet moves, it can just end up on your chin strap and cover your entire face. So I'm just saying that if it's off the side of somebody's chin or like on their chin, I would not necessarily think that that's intentional.
Well, here's what I'm gonna say. Fortunately, high school is different from college. And what I mean by college, I hate to bring that up for you. A kid gets hit. It is thinking, you guys see me? Can everybody see me?
I gotta find you.
Nope.
How about now? Because I'm on here as well. It's probably under Sarah Johnson. Or I can look over. How about if I go behind Andre? Can you see me now?
Yeah, you gotta move in.
Okay. If a player in college,
Yeah.
now you see me?
You just-
Yeah.
Okay. If a player in college gets hit, and we're talking, we'll do it this way, and his helmet gets rocked.
Yeah.
And it goes like this.
Uh-huh.
In college, that's off. That is off. So we stop. He has to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They haven't went that far in high school yet, and we can recognize it. But here's what I'm going to say to you. This player is number 33. He gets hit, it moves. All right, put it down. He gets hit, it moves. Put it down. He's not wearing his helmet properly, so
Yeah.
we are going to send him off.
Mhm.
Okay, so if it's something that's repetitive and frequent, yes, he can get sent off. And this is just regular play. He's actually doing a chest-to-chest thing, but his helmet keeps rocking. He is not wearing his helmet properly. So he will end up incurring that, go off the field, and wait till the next dead ball and tighten up his chin strap so his helmet quits rocking.
Yep. All right. Fair enough. Thank you.
You're welcome. But like I said, they have seen noticeable improvement. Basically, it's out of there. Guys realize that, hey, it doesn't make me play any better, and for lack of another word, they're kind of giving it a fight. And that's continued. They need to have all 4 chin straps. It's need to be worn the way it's supposed to be worn. All of them, all 4 points. One of them breaks, one of them comes loose. He needs to go off and get it fixed. And that's just a change. And again, once we get to the point that, hey, you're not doing it, you're going to get sent off for a non-release profile. This they put in there for the point of emphasis. When we were talking about the scrimmage area being checked or losing play, basically put a 5-yard bubble around the player in all directions. So that's why I say a bubble. And that is part of active play so that we all know what the scrimmage area is. Back up 1 second on there. Please don't get into a fight as to whether it was 3.5 yards or 5.5 yards. Fell on the part of safety, and coaches, please get on your players to wear proper equipment properly so that they don't lose it during play.
What, you mean this one?
No, the one about the scrimmage area.
Okay.
Because I'm pretty sure that we're going to end up having something that somebody says, hey, you stopped and it was 7 yards away and my kid was going to outrun everybody, which may have happened or was going to happen. But like I said, they're on the part of safety and that player gets to keep the ball. Here we went over, that's just a new field diagram. I know that it's going to be a change for a lot of players and stuff like that, but during live play, off-field players and substitutes need to remain in the team area, not be in there. Again, tell all your substitution coaches, tell your players that new coaches area is for transition. It is not a place to collect. Make sure that they are going through it when a substitution is imminent.
Right.
Yep. I guarantee you that the coaches will love this new thing. At least the college coaches did, just to have the freedom to move around. Okay. This here again, when the initial force of contact is through the body of the opponent and then intentionally sides up to the head, this would be considered indirect contact to the head and or body. And that's the 1 minute. If again he finishes up there, it can still be 2 or 3 minutes. For you officials, the call for all of those is, let me get up here to
Cameron,
see me. Yeah. Sorry.
you're at the very bottom.
That's because I'm short.
Just,
Can everybody, I don't know.
here, I'll-
Can everybody? How about now? Okay. The call for that is a legal body check. All right. To the head. And then you're going to put your minutes up. All right. If you put 1 minute, just tell them that it's locked in. If it is 2 minutes or 3 minutes, again, a legal body check, head contact, 2 minutes, direct. We're not going to say anything about the indirect, but the 2 minutes or 3 minutes or the ejection, we will put in the word direct. So that's how it's done. Legal body check, head contact, 1 minute, stays. Legal body check, head contact, 2 minutes direct, stays. Everybody understand that?
It's not that Jeff is so short that he's like beneath me. It looks like a little kid. He's in a shorter chair and I'm in a taller chair.
Yeah. But I am short.
We go with this one. Oh. Remember the last slide.
Yep, that is the last one.
Yep.
Any questions? We'll let the coaches go, and then we'll talk to the officials for a minute. Any questions at all for me that I can answer for anyone?
I did have a question. One of my assistant coaches and I were talking about. We were curious. How do you conduct, like if they're like halftime or in between quarters? You guys conduct stick checks, so this way we can make sure our guys' equipment is right and they're not getting hit with a goofy stick check because we missed something about how you check them. Explain to us, and maybe if there's a video out there of like how exactly the check gets conducted, just so we can be clear on it.
First of all, we try to conduct the stick checks during the natural play, dead ball situation, timeout in the quarter, things like that. And understand that those stick checks in high school are an equipment check. So we're going to be looking for the mouthpiece, the chin strap, the gloves, shoulder pads, things like that as well. Once we release him from that and we do the stick, what we're going to do initially is take the stick, have it flat, put the ball in, drop it there, and we're just going to look and make sure that there is no air gap between the ball and the plastic. If there's air gap between the ball and the plastic, it's going to be 2 minutes. It's all 2 minutes in high school. It's going to be 2 minutes, and you can fix the stick. After that, what we're going to do is roll it from that flat surface, should say angle, and then roll it to 90 degrees, and the ball should come free. Again, we'll put it in the pocket. We'll hold it straight up 90 degrees, roll it forward. Again, it should roll out and come free. We have a card now rather than do the 3, 3, 3.5. And that card should fit down inside that pocket without the plastic holding it there or us having to shove it down in order to make it fit. We also check the shooting strings. Our card, again, convenient for all the officials. All of our cards have a little hook at the top. You put that hook on the top of the stick, the last line on it, that is 4 inches. You run that across there, and if the string is below that at any point, that is, again, 2-minute penalty and has it. Now, in rolling, and then, of course, I'm going to measure it, the 6 inches, the 10, the 40 to 42, the 50 to 72. But we'll check all those things there. Again, in high school, it's all 2 minutes. We will check sticks before games, allow us to do our coach certification, coin toss, and all that stuff. And the time that permits in there, we will check sticks. We will not check the whole team, but we will check sticks if players come up and ask us to check sticks. What else was I going to say? In that, also understand wet days, cold days, a stick that was very legal to start with can be very illegal by the third or fourth quarter. So they need to be constantly checking their sticks as well. And last but not least, no, that won't be last but not least. I checked 32 in the first quarter. I can check him in the second, in the third, and in the fourth. There is no restriction on how many times I can check a particular stick. But we're not going to target any players. This is the last but not least. That stick needs to be in a player's hand. That player does not have to be on the field. He can be a bench player, but that stick has to be in a player's hand. We cannot go and see a stick, or a coach cannot ask for a stick check on the coach's shooting stick because it's laying on the bench or in the bench area in visible sight. The player, it has to be in a player's hand if you're going to check a stick.
You said plastic of the head. Like, so I've seen kids do that inside stringing pattern on a head. If your card were to hit the sidewall strings, does that count also as a width, or are you talking just the plastic of the head?
Well, two different things there. If we're just dropping the ball in, like I said, a deep pocket, if there's an air gap between where that ball is resting and the bottom of the plastic. When we're rolling it and it's coming out and it's not coming out, there's a difference between a pocket being quasi deep and bunched out and a stick that has what I'm going to say restrictive knots. The knots are really big and doesn't allow it to come out. That there, fortunately, in high school is not a problem. Everything is 2 minutes. But that would be an issue in years past. But now, either way, we're going to tell them how to fix the stick or what's wrong.
So, like, I'll give you a good example. I have your standard coach's stick that is wildly illegal for the kids to use in field of play.
Yep.
I can turn my stick completely upside down and the ball won't always fall out. Like, it'll just get stuck because of the sidewalls.
That's right.
That would be an illegal stick, correct?
That's right. That will give him a flag in a 2 minute. And that is one of the things that we check.
If you have that stick and you're using it before the game, fine. During the game, I would get that stick out of the bench area because we can literally grab any stick in the entire bench area. The coach in a player's hand. Like if one of your players is picking it up, looking at it, if an opposing coach calls for a stick check or equipment check on that person, we grab that stick. It's illegal. He's getting a penalty. Even if you say, well, that's my stick. It was never in the game. Like there's no way for us to know that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I get that part. I was making sure that I understood it because I've had kids like, oh, well, coach, it's not the plastic. And I'm like, it's still illegal because it's too tight because of the way it's strung.
Yep. Right. The ball don't come free. It's still 2 minute penalty. Any other questions?
I have one more before I go. I wanted to get complete clarity from you all because I've had it called more than one way when traveling to play with high school kids. Can you ward off in possession of the ball if you have two hands on the stick?
No.
Okay. I thought that was the case, but it has not always been called that way.
Here's the thing about that, and again, I'll throw myself under the bus. One, I have a boy that played travel, and travel, for those of you that are familiar with it, is basically even down to U12 and U14, a college game with high school kids. You can redirect with both hands on the stick in college, and they're letting them do it. The second one is, again, I apologize. I am at D&E doing a 1:00 game. I go over to Buchanan to do a 4:00 game because I'm there and I'm helping Andre, and I let it go. I'm hoping that I'm on there with a couple of high school guys that say, hey, or that guy's warding off, or a coach tells me, and I will listen and make sure that I take it out of the game. So in high school, both hands on the stick does not allow you to ward.
Thank you.
Can you just rephrase that? If you both hands are on your stick and you push somebody away, you cannot be called for warding.
You cannot ward.
Yes.
What I'm saying, oh, I see what you're saying. That is a turnover. Let me say it that way. Both hands on the stick. He's playing me. He has his out here. I have both hands on my stick, and I do this. When doing it, that's a ward.
So you cannot do it.
Right. That
Okay.
is
Okay.
that's a turnover. I apologize for the way I was speaking.
Yeah, the way
No,
I'm like, I think
That's
you're
right.
confusing this.
that is a turnover in high school.
In high school.
Because just for an example, like when we played in Virginia, that was perfectly fine. Like if you had two hands on your stick and you basically went somebody around with your elbow to gain leverage and like get in front of them for position, that was fine. Then we went and play in Illinois, and you dodge on somebody, you push them off like a half inch, and then it's going the other way. So I just wanted clarity. But again, that was college, not high school. So
Right. And like I said, you can get into that. And what I'm saying is, Julie has a lot of college officials down there. She assigns down there, has a lot of college officials down there. They do a lot of summer stuff down there.
Mhm.
That stuff carries over. The further west you go, I'm not going to say that it's weaker lacrosse because Denver has won a championship.
Mhm.
In high school and college, lower colleges, you don't have the same taught talent all the way through, and you don't have the same taught officiating all the way through. And so you have more high school officials. And I apologize again for me and my brother and getting in there and saying, let's play. It is by rule, it is a turnover, regardless of having both hands on those sticks. You can't knock somebody else's stick away or redirect them.
all right. Thank you.
Well,
Now, for as far and just because now I was a little confused. So if I have a player that uses his body or his arm to push off a defensive player that with both hands on the stick, that's considered a ward, right? Or are you just talking purely blocking their stick out?
Like
Yeah.
my hand on the stick here, I'm taking, can you guys see me? My hand right here, and
Yeah.
I push him away with that. Even though both hands are on a stick, that's a ward. If I have both hands on my stick and I'm in him and I'm not cross-checking him, say my hands are together and I'm body checking him and he has the ball or I have the ball, that's legal.
So like say he pushed off with like his elbow or something, is that considered a ward? Like it'd be like chicken winged out.
I'm going to say that by rule, that's a ward. Whether that gets called or not, and I'm saying due of lack of recognition or that it's happening so fast, I'm going to say that it may depend, like he was saying, where you're standing.
Fair enough.
Because some don't recognize that.
But technically,
It is a turnover.
Yeah, but by rule, it would be no different than if it was a free hand, but it might just not be seen depending on the angle.
correct.
Or recognized,
Or recognize.
because like he was saying, where you travel across, I'll say Western Reserve comes through here, and I know that they played Willing Central. Those kids, if you ever go to their game, it's this kid's going to Holy Cross, this kid's going to, and they basically got a D1 team out there, and they know how to do things fast and inside that you just don't recognize because you don't see it a lot.
Any other questions from the coaches?
Hopefully this was good. I apologize that it took as long as it did. But like I said, if you have anything else that you need to ask or something like that, reach out to your local official or reach out to me, and I'll get back to you. If you send me an email or send me a text, either one of them, or if you call, leave me a voicemail. Let me explain my life doing college games right now, but I also work at the power company, which is a rotating shift. I'm either 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. or 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. So I may be asleep or I may be at the desk, which I can't answer a phone right then and there, but I will get back to you.
And coaches, especially for the new guys, if you have a rules question, you see me on the field, you want to ask me, that's fantastic. But if you're like, there's a rules interpretation you're not sure of, don't email me or call me to ask me. Just Jeff is the rules person. So make sure you send an email to him or you give him a phone call about a rules question. If it's an assigning issue or a problem with an official, then you'll get a hold of me. I mean, if you see me in the field, sure, ask me. I'm happy to give you the answer. But because I have a lot to do with the assigning already, if there's a rules thing during the season, Jeff's going to be your best number one answer, and he's going to have the right answer. Whereas I may have to tell you, especially if it's something extremely complicated. Usually I'm going to know, but occasionally I may have to say, you know what, I'm going to have to ask Jeff about that. So why don't we cut the middleman out and you ask Jeff about it? And feel free to CC me so I'm aware of what's going on, especially if there's a misinterpretation. But rules things, go to Jeff. Assigning things, you're going to go to me.
Yeah, let's do it easy. Questions to me, videos to him.
The rules interpretation video is not ready yet, and we don't like present it over the air anyway, because especially for some people, if you have a bad connection or a slow connection or you're on your phone, you're not going to see it. It's going to be choppy. But once that rules video is ready and up on the platform, I'm going to send an email out to Jimmy so he can distribute it to the coaches, and then I'll distribute it to all the officials, a link to watch the rules video online for anybody who wants to see it. And we're recording this interpretation meeting right now. So if you want to go back and get reclarification on anything we discussed, this will be posted on the Mountaineer Lacrosse Officials Association's YouTube page, probably sometime tonight or tomorrow. We'll have this posted up so you guys can rewatch everything we talked about and see how short Jeff is, compared to me on the screen.
Compared to everybody.
The coaches don't have anything else. You guys are good to go. Officials, you want to stick around just for a few more minutes? Just going to go over a couple of things. But coaches, thanks for joining us. Look forward to seeing you guys on the field. Ron, do you got anything you want to end with? If you are talking about
that coach is looking forward to seeing you all. Hopefully we have a great season.
Sounds good. Coaches, you're good to sign off. Officials, just hang around for a minute. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate the clarity, guys. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, give them a couple seconds here to all log off. Looks like most of them have logged off. Everybody I'm seeing here looks like they're just officials. Okay. Jeff, anything you want to go over?
Any questions though that you guys may want to ask now that we are alone? Because I know sometimes it's hard to explain something to a coach.
I'm gonna pause the recording.